I am an overthinker. Know that feeling? Who's here? Who's here? Yeah. Are you an overthinker? No, you're not. You're not, right? That's good. I think you see it in my paintings actually. I tend to go very much into detail. I tend to lose myself in details, and don't get me wrong, I enjoy it. That's kind of my style, that's kind of my thing. And I'm not about to change it. But recently I've uploaded a painting of Tawny Alls here, which I made in my typical highly detailed watercolor and ink style. And after that, I really wanted to continue to paint, and yet I really didn't want to think. You know that? I really didn't want to stress. I wanted to paint without fussing about it at all. And that's how this video came into being, actually, and how this happened. Jesus. I'm not an abstract painter, but I want to tell you today how I made these mini watercolor abstracts and why, and what I learned while I did so. Now, just to make things clear, when I say that I didn't want to think, I'm not implying that you don't have to think at all when you're making abstract art, or that as an abstract artist you don't need a skill set. Actually, I've had to learn a lot of stuff while I was experimenting with these pieces. I'm just saying that I wanted to step away from my inner thought processes and from my perfectionism, and that I wanted to simply enjoy colors and enjoy the process of painting, holding a brush in your hand, you know, and just enjoying it in a very free way where the outcome does not matter a lot. At least it did not matter in this instance for me. It wasn't about the end result, it was about enjoying the process. That's what I'm trying to say, and I had a lot of fun. While I was painting, I was thinking about walks that I've been taking recently, or even in one instance I was thinking about a dream I had recently. And I tried to find the right colors to capture the mood of those memories, you know. It didn't always work, but that's what I was going for in a lot of those cases. And in other cases, I was just, you know, enjoying a certain color and wanted to see what I could do with it. That's also why I hadn't chosen a particular color palette before I started working on the individual squares. And it wasn't about that. I really wanted to be completely free and didn't want anything holding me back, you know? So I just tried a lot of different techniques and tried stuff that just came to my mind, or stuff that I've seen before. At the beginning, I've worked more with wet and wet techniques, and I let the colors bleed into each other a lot, but at some point I decided that I actually wanted some more definition in certain pieces, like in this one, and I let the paper dry more before I continued to add more color. I've also used some pencils, and I did some scribbles to some of the squares. I really enjoy scribbles sometimes, and I thought that those would be a nice addition in these little paintings, although I have to admit that I wasn't really happy with them at the end, which surprised me, to be honest. But I think if I were to make something like that again, and I'm fairly sure that I will use less of them. Anyhow, I used those pencils to make some scribbles. I also used some plastic wrap and tried to play a bit with that. I expected more pronounced results from that, to be honest, but I also wasn't really patient, if I had to be completely honest with you. So that's probably also why the marks weren't really pronounced. In some cases I took the back side of my brush and then scribbled on wet watercolor to add some additional marks, and that I really enjoyed. I think that was quite nice. But the thing that I enjoyed the most, I think, is using this old piece of plastic I just had lying around and painting with watercolor on this piece of plastic first, literally just leaving some watercolor drops on it, and then pressing it into the paper. And I just really liked the effect that it created. I really liked how it created these little pools of watercolor, and I used this always on already completely dry paper, because otherwise I think the effects wouldn't have been as pronounced. I've also experimented with some pieces of paper and just took those pieces to kind of move the watercolor around, which I think was fine, but the most joy I think I've gotten when I started blowing the watercolor around. I didn't have a straw. I know it would have helped a lot, but hey, it worked out even without a straw, and it was so much fun. It is so nice to simply tap into this inner child of yours and do something with this incredible medium, you know, without having, as I've said before, to stress about the outcome, without having to control everything. It was just so nice to let go and let the color do the work, you know, and seeing what comes out. The very last thing I did was to add some acrylic paint, actually. So in some pieces I felt there wasn't enough contrast, or I felt that some colors had to be neutralized and that white was really lacking. So I added some white acrylics and I scribbled on them, and I really liked those marks they left. The most fun part was, of course, then removing the tape and seeing how it looked. I've debated for a minute if I would actually cut it up, but yes, I did cut it up. I really wanted to look at them individually. And I think altogether they don't really work well, simply because they are so different, you know. So, and here we are with the end result, and I just wanted to go over those singular pieces together with you. The first one, this one, I think is actually my favorite. I know that the color palette isn't particularly creative or anything, but I really like the colors and I just enjoy looking at it. I really like this mark over here, and also how the colors blend into each other in the center part. And I kind of have to, it kind of reminds me of flower fields, you know, or flower shops, something like that. And it's just a very lively, positive little piece, I would say. Then the next one, that one turned out much better than I expected. Actually, for the longest part, I kind of really didn't know what to do with it. But at the final stage, I actually started to enjoy it. I think that way I like it the most, kind of when these mark with the composition at the right side mostly. Yeah, this one I don't know. I mean, I didn't feel really creative when I worked on this one. And my association when I was working on this one was like, do you know how the tree leaves look almost neon green when you look up during a forest walk and there is all the sun pouring through them? That's kind of what I was going for with this one. I don't know if I've achieved it, but yeah, you can't like everything. Yes, here's this one with some acrylic. I kind of like it, I gotta say. It has some feeling, a setting sun shining through some bushes during autumn when the leaves have already fallen, you know. Maybe the first frost has also already appeared on those branches. Like this is the association. That's the thing this reminds me of. I don't know, maybe you can look at it also that way. For this, I think I prefer this one. Okay, so that one reminds me of frost and winter. Maybe those patterns you have on the window, you know, when it's really cold outside. Yeah, I kind of enjoy it. I like it. Not sure how I feel about this piece. I was thinking of the Rocky Mountains. Yeah, looking at this, I don't really see it, but oh, it's okay. This one I quite enjoy. It reminds me of ice on a lake during winter. Do you know how it's sometimes a bit broken and you can see the dark water through the ice and there's maybe sun reflecting off it? I quite like this piece. That's my least favorite one. It just looks like graffiti to me. Yeah, and not the good kind of graffiti, just some mess actually. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of was going for something. I was thinking of a walk through a forest I've made several weeks ago, and again there was this really intense green. It was really nice, but this particular piece, it has too much color. It is too saturated. It kind of looks toxic almost. So I don't know. I tried to neutralize it with this white color and it got better, I would say, but I don't know. Not my favorite piece. In this case, I was also thinking of a walk. You notice a pattern here? And of these dry fields during evening time, and I just wanted to capture the mood and the colors. But I think I actually enjoy looking at this piece this way. There's just something about the composition that I enjoy more when I turn it, you know. And I quite like these blobs of color. I don't know, it's very pleasing to my eyes. Yeah, it's I don't know what this reminds me of, but I kind of like it. I just simply like colors and composition. I like this white. Yeah, just enjoy it. But I don't know what I'm thinking of when I look at it. Yeah, this again is kind of oversaturated, I would say. I've had a dream recently about a painting I've been planning on making forever now, and my subconscious apparently told me, yeah, when is it going to happen? You gotta do it, come on. And I just wanted to try the colors that I saw in my dream, but it didn't come out the way I wanted to. It's still okay, I think. Yeah, and this one I kind of enjoy as well. I like those pencil scribbles. I like the way they look on this watercolor paper, and I also like this little bit of green in the corner. Makes me think of mountains and heavy clouds and maybe the sun coming up and lighting everything in the valley. It's kind of my thought process when I look at it. Yeah. I have enjoyed this so very much, and I would really, really advise you to give it a try, regardless of whether you are an abstract painter or not. Just give it a try. I've also heard that some people call this intuitive painting, and yeah, just let your intuition roam free, So I hope you enjoyed me talking about this and sharing my experience, and I hope to see you again if you like this kind of content. I'm sure that I will be doing something like that fairly soon, but also check out my other videos because usually I make different stuff. And yes, since you have reached the end of the video, consider liking, subscribing, and I hope to see you again. See you!